the political system that I live within and that you have to live with. And I know as the leader of my party, I know as the Dáil deputy, that the frustration that's out there at the way politics doesn't operate for people is causing so much anger and grief around the country. And I've said this publicly on many occasions. I want you to know this. I am not here to make false promises. I am not here to attempt to lead anybody astray around the country in terms of what I believe should be done in the way our politics operates. And I can speak with some validity here. I do happen to be the father of the last Dáil. 35 years service, I've seen them come and I've seen them go. I've seen all the pathetic attempts, all the hypocritical words about Dáil reform and changing the way that would make it more relevant to people. Well, I want you to understand in Carrick, and you can take note of it tonight, because this is the first political meeting, as far as I'm aware, that's actually streamed live on the internet. And I want you to know, and the world to know, that you're now looking at a leader who will change the ways of politics in Ireland, who will change the way we do politics in Dáil Éireann, who will make our truth, because it's not just about us in this room or the people outside, it's about the next generation. It's about the young people, to give them an understanding that politics can and actually does work. And I know, ladies and gentlemen, there's so many hundreds of thousands of people out there that politics has no relevance to them. It does not reach into their lives. Its arm, its finger, does not point in their direction and say, please, come with me, I can help you. And what I want to do is to demonstrate that politics actually does work. And in that sense, we have to change the language of politics, to be more compassionate, to be more understanding, to be more generous, to be more fair, to be more encouraging, so that, in effect, the arm of good politics can be extended around the shoulders of those who are disenfranchised, of those who feel the hurt of life, of those who have lost a sense of what it actually means, and say, please, come with us. We can encourage you. We can give you the opportunity to better yourself and play a real part for your country. There is no need to be lost in the shadows because of politics, and I want to change that. And we'll start. If we're serious about this in politics, then you've got to start at the centre and you've got to start at the top. I've said that across the board there should be reductions in the highest level of public salaries, and I indicated that yesterday. I also want to cut the number of politicians by 1/3. That means that within 12 months of Fine Gael taking government, you will be asked a question, among a lot of questions, as to whether or not you want to abolish Shannon Éireann. When I said this 2.5 years ago, people were very cynical. This was another gimmick, they said. This is all populist nonsense. And now I see that all the other parties have come on board the same platform, and they all want the Shannon up. Well, I have news for them. They can't abolish it. None of them can abolish it without your imprimatur and without your authority. And please God, when that day comes, you can take out your pencil, you won't have to do it electronically, and you can put down your mark, yes or no. Secondly, we will reduce the number of Dáil deputies by 20 based on a change in the tolerance levels. Now I know that here in Leitrim, this was always a source of angst for you people, that Leitrim was split right in two by an independent commission which, based on the census of population, left you without a county structure for their decision as to whether they wanted to elect a deputy or deputies from the area or not. I can't say what the next independent commission will do, because it will look at the new statistics based on the population, but it will be given a remit that in the context of the tolerance levels, the numbers in the Dáil will be reduced by 20, and that will obviously mean changes in boundaries in a number of constituencies. It may even change yours back here to a whole entity. Now, that unlike Fianna Fáil and the Greens, who have been humming around now for 3 years, the Fine Gael government will ban corporate donations. This party has no links and no pressure from either big unions or big business. And in order to demonstrate that beyond yea or nay, we will legislate promptly and quickly just to have that little matter cleared up entirely. Secondly, there will be no more taxpayer subsidies for pensions that pay over $60,000 upon retirement, and that will apply across the public and the private sector. There will be no ministerial pensions paid until the national retirement age is reached. I believe it's very important that you should understand that when people go into politics, they go into politics by choice. By choice. They don't have to go into it. They go in because they want to contest. And if they are lucky enough to be elected to the Dáil or to any other body, that's by secret ballot of the people. And if they serve in the Dáil and the government changes or whatever, and the Taoiseach of the day decides to appoint them as a minister, that's a bonus. That's a bonus in the sense that it's a bonus to serve in public life, to serve their country at the rank of cabinet minister. And in my belief, times have changed and circumstances have changed, and what I saw in the last number of weeks does not, in my view, represent reality, and for that reason I will end severance payments for ministers for once and for all. I want you to understand that the system of state cars is going to change. I saw them all driving up to Farmley. I saw them all driving up in convoy lines to other places. There is no need, in the vast majority of these cases, for trained Gardaí to be driving ministers around to cut a tape on a woodside walk, or to open a plaque on a bit of a new road, or indeed, as I saw some ministers unveiling plaques on pump houses for water schemes. So we will pool state cars and those who have held constitutional office before. If they are to be in attendance at official functions, then a pooled state car will be available to transport them there for that. What's happened in this country in the last 13 years has been an extreme example of the culture of cronyism. The former Taoiseach, I asked him one day in the Dáil, are your appointments made on the basis of merit or friendship? And the answer was that many of them were made on friendship. And we know the kind of friendship that has led to, where young couples today are now under serious pressure because they can't meet their mortgages, because they were forced to buy or seduced to buy houses at the top of the property price list between 2004 and 2008, when there was collusion effectively between banks, big developers and a government regime that said, let the party continue. We make no apology. For saying to those young people, what we want to do is to target increased mortgage interest relief for you who are now caught in this bind and who see no future. And if the banks want to stand against an incoming government, then as Michael Noonan pointed out, owners have rights, and we make no apology, as I say, for targeting those most vulnerable group of 250,000 people around our country. And so for those who want to sit in future on serious state boards or in positions of responsibility, they are going to have to attend before an Oireachtas committee, and they're going to have to explain to that Oireachtas committee what it is that they bring to the particular board or agency for which they intend to apply to sit on. I think that's only right and proper. That's only right and proper that persons who occupy serious positions of responsibility on state boards should, in their own interest, be able to say, these are the merits, or this is what I bring to this board, this is what I would like to do with it, in conjunction with whatever other board membership is there. I think that's only in their own interest that they should do that. And those who know in the beginning that they're not worthy of that responsibility probably won't apply in the first place. So I want to see an end to that and proper analysis and scrutiny of those things. So I'd like you to understand that in politics, what we're going to do is have accountability and transparency for the way things are done. We are going to have a single-chamber parliamentary system. And by that I mean that when the heads of a bill are prepared, they're going to be sent to the Oireachtas, to the Dáil, so that the politicians can give a reflection on it at an early stage. What happens now is that the bill is prepared, circulated among the government departments, eventually comes before the Dáil, and nobody has had any say in it until such time as it's actually published. So what we want to do is get political reflections early on, go through the first, second and committee stage as currently applied, and then have a really strong legislation committee which will have the authorisation to call agencies, organisations, individuals or concerned citizens before it and say, this is what we've done so far. What do you think? Do you like it? Do you think something else should be added in? Is it effective enough? Is it too strong or whatever? And that if, following that process, if there are any further amendments to be made, that they are made by the elected members of the Dáil before that bill is passed by the House and sent off to the President to become law. And in each case, there will be a review clause that within 18 months or 2 years, that piece of legislation will be reviewed. Has it done its job? Is it superfluous? Do we need it anymore? Should it be changed? Or does it need to be further amended? And from that perspective, I feel, and know myself, that we can get a far more comprehensive analysis of the way we do our business in the people's interest. And I would like to see that the discussions that take place, both at those powerful committees and in the Dáil, would have their opportunity to be on a parliamentary channel as a public service so that people can see and hear and know that their public representatives are acting properly on their behalf. And finally, I want you to know that the old ways of doing business in the Dáil are going to change, because ministers are now going to have to be responsible for the portfolios that they hold. I don't want to see a situation, as has happened over the last number of years, where somebody asks a parliamentary question about a health issue, and it's hived off to the HSE political section, and you might get an answer in 6 weeks or longer or whatever. I want ministers to be in the chamber, to be able to say, this is the situation, and give an honest, fulsome and truthful answer in respect of whatever the question might be. And I think and I believe that when people see the system that we have, which has been allowed to drift, when that's brought back to answerability and responsibility in the chamber of the Dáil, the theatre of the people, they will then understand that politics actually can and does work in the country's interest as it's supposed to be, and that those who don't measure up, they won't be getting any severance payment anyway, but they may be moved on for non-performance.